Fellas. Welcome to the episode 25 podcast. I'm Frank, here with David and Coop, also known as DeVito for David, for anybody wondering. David is trying a new laptop and microphone combo today, so hopefully, so far so good. We don't need hashtag get David good internet yet, but
We're only 30 seconds in, Frank.
not still young. Not still young. We got a really cool episode for you tonight. We had our fantasy draft last night. Us and a bunch of our buddies from high school. And then we are going to kind of reveal our picks and kind of our thought process behind each one. So, with that being said, we're going to roll into it. Episode 25. Here we go, fellas. Episode 25 of the Trifecta Sports Podcast. David. David had a little hiccup last night, and I'm going to just right off the bat. We sit beside each other at our buddy's house, and he screwed up. Dave, let the viewers know what you did on accident. It was an accident. I'll give him that, and it's already been fixed.
Well, it hasn't
But
been
David
fixed
screwed
yet.
up.
Hasn't been fixed yet. We're still waiting for the waiver wire claim to go through. But this was a culmination of Frank and Coop both just ruining my night from the start. First, Frank decided to announce to the entire draft that he's going to take the first quarterback off the board in the second round, which completely ruined my entire strategy because then Coop went and took a quarterback with the next pick because he was scared. And then on Coop's fault, Coop was feeding me, some very tasty bushes the entire night. And,
it is the Bush League. It's the Bush League.
It's the Bush League. Bush. And so, yeah, got a little drunk, got a little happy, decided that I liked. Whoa.
That's my phone went off. Sorry, fellas.
I decided that I liked both the 49ers defense, and I don't even remember who I drafted before them.
The Buccaneers.
The Buccaneers.
You drafted two defenses.
So your boy got two defenses, and I'm pretty sure it took me from being the best draft. I think that's what did me in.
All right, so sticking on David's train here of his draft, let's take a look at his starters here. David, take us through your thought process. What do you like about it? Something that you might change.
Well, I had the 8th pick, redraft, snake draft. We play full PPR. So first round pick was Najee Harris. Second round pick, Debo. Kind of, that 8, and I believe it was 13 or 14 was that wraparound. So my thought process was, go get two dudes that are going to go get me some points early on. Najee's a workhorse. We know that. Maybe not as many receptions as like an Eckler or a CMC, but still good fantasy value for running back. Debo was basically the best available when I had my pick. I forget who the other wide receiver I had as an option. I kind of decided that Debo has that upside where he's more of the utility guy in San Francisco versus I forget who the other man was that was up there. And then my goal was to have that third round pick be my quarterback, go after the Herbert, Josh Allen, Mahomes, because, our football league isn't diehards like us three where we watch football and talk about it constantly. So I was thinking quarterbacks would last a couple rounds until Frank opened his big mouth. So that's when, I went and got Mark Andrews. I don't hate the pick. A little early for a tight end, but literally I had my second round pick. Coop was 2 picks after me, and I think the top 10 quarterbacks were gone before I got to my pick in the third. So I kind of got handcuffed pretty bad. I got lucky Tom Brady was still there, I believe, in like the 6th. But so I got Mark Andrews, and then Mike Williams and Cortland Sutton just fell into my lap. That was kind of the quarterback fallout that I kind of got lucky with. I actually love those 2 picks, especially they're saying Cortland Sutton is Wilson's number 1 target right now. So I am very happy with that pick in a PPR league. And then I kind of had to go. I had to get more running backs. Javonte fell to me, which I'm not mad about that one at all. And then J.K. Dobbins, he tore ACL last year, but he was a fantasy stud in 2020. Granted, it was a COVID year, but we'll see how that turns out. And then just betting on Christian Kirk. Man got paid. Hoping Trevor Lawrence has a better year this year with better weapons around him. So, I don't know. I like it. I got ESPN gave me the 2nd ranking, and I think Fantasy Pros gave me 3rd. So, out of the 8th spot, I'm very happy with my draft, especially since I got Carson Wentz starting for me, which a lot of other teams have better quarterbacks than I do.
Yeah, so let's take a look at David's bench really quick. So these are the guys he also picked up along the way. If you can see here, right in the 5th bench spot, we have the ever elusive Buccaneers defense / special teams. For those of you that just got on, here's David's starters. Here's David's bench. He drafted 2 defenses. So congrats. I like the Russell Gage pickup. I think you got him pretty late. He is going to be coming off an injury, obviously, but he's in a wide receiver room that it's kind of uncertain with Godwin and Julio, and I don't think they have many tight end options that I'm aware of. Tom Brady likes to spread the ball around, so he's a potential sleeper that is going to help Dave out eventually. Also, what I like about Dave's draft is his wide receivers are not going to blow anybody out of solid, and I think they're going to be consistent. And I think I like Christian Kirk a lot. I think that's going to be a pick that David likes tremendously over the course of the season. Again, it's all dependent on how Trevor Lawrence works, but I think the Jaguars are trending up, similar to where a few years ago as they drafted Baker. You're looking at, in my opinion, 6, 7, 8 wins this season for sure. I'm going to call it now. So, Coop, what do you like about Dave's draft most?
What do I like the most? Let me see.
He's just going to trash it.
No, definitely not. I agree with you. Kirk was my sleeper when we did that episode. I think the target volume there is going to be huge, especially in a PPR league that ups his value. He's not going to have that touchdown, upside that a lot of these guys do, but he's got touchdowns covered. And that's one thing that stands out to me. Like Mike Williams, Cortland Sutton, probably both in the top 10 favorites right now if you're betting double-digit touchdowns for the NFL this season. No doubt in my mind, both those guys could take a huge step forward. Williams, just with, another year of Herbert developing, another year of Keenan Allen getting older. He's at that, I think 32-year-old wide receiver season where we start to see him drop off. And Cortland Sutton profiles as the Denver DK, right? I mean, that's what he looks like right now. Every report out of training camp, he's Russ's guy. He's looking for him all the time. Dobbins, man, I've had such a hard time with Dobbins this offseason because, even when we did the Baltimore preview, like I said, he's a guy that can finish top 10. He's also a guy that can finish outside the top 30. Is he going to be healthy? And how much are they going to split that backfield?
Yeah, they have a ton of running backs back there.
For the only team that really waited on quarterback, I do think he got 2 good values here. Brady slipping because of all the offseason drama, and everybody they take those bad plays from Wentz and they really let it dictate the whole narrative on him. But he was good when he played up until the end of the season. Just those key plays is where he fails. So I think it's good. I don't think it'll win him the league, but it'll be respectable.
I don't know if you have it handy, Coop, but do you have the championship belt near you right now?
I don't. Nope. It's still out in the car. I didn't unpack everything from last night.
So in the thumbnail for this video on YouTube later on, we're going to have a picture of us 3. We all got together. Dave was in town. He's actually back in Illinois right now. So it was good to have Dave come back into Kentucky and hang out with us for a little bit. We all three took a picture together to use for thumbnails and things like that. And Coop is wearing the championship belt that he had purchased. It's pretty sick looking. If you want a link to where he got it from, we'll put it in the bio. That way you can go on there and order your fantasy football league belt. I think every fantasy league has to have something that you're playing for. Obviously, money is involved. But having something you can keep over time for the whole calendar year and just show up to random places that your friends are going to be there and just wear it constantly and shove it in their faces that you beat their ass in fantasy football. So good times for me. I think so. But let's go with let's talk about mine. All right. So I had the number 1 overall pick. Obviously, I picked Jonathan Taylor. Team name, Taylor Park Boys. No like, let us know in the comments. Dave's name is Dave. Super crappy. Tell him it sucks. He'll figure something else out. It should be David spelled with 2 D's because it's 2 defenses. Get it? That's funny. But anyway.
Tie it to a balloon, Frank. Tie it to a balloon.
That was funny, and you know it, David. I picked Jonathan Taylor first overall. I think CeeDee Lamb was my second round pick. I do like my quarterback situation.
CD was in the third.
Oh, I have to pick Lamar second. That's after I was telling everybody that I was going to pick Josh Allen with my next pick. And then Coop picked him like 4 picks before me. And then the quarterbacks just started dropping off quickly because we are in a 2 quarterback league. It does scare you a little bit that you're going to get left with, pretty crappy quarterback.
Didn't scare me.
Well, I mean, but in our league, if you have 2 really good quarterbacks, that could potentially result in 100 points based on our scoring. We are PPR, but like everything is doubled pretty much, just inflated heavily. So 2 good quarterbacks can help you win tremendously, along with the other pieces you have. But for me, I do like my running back room a lot. I like my starting receivers are okay. Funny story is my internet actually got timed out and I was auto drafted DK. Not sure that I would pick him in that spot that happened, but I'm also not upset about it at the same time. I was actually had back-to-back picks and they auto drafted me 2 of them. I can't remember the other one. I think the other one was Elijah Mitchell. If I'm not mistaken, Coop probably has the draft board up there. Was I right on that? So I got auto drafted DK and Elijah Mitchell because my internet at the time in the same house as everybody else.
That's just on you, Frank.
Cut out. And then, but I mean, it could be worse. I did get, I like the Chargers defense a lot. I'm not a huge David Montgomery fan, but for what was available, I like it at that point. For my bench, I went heavy wide receiver. Olave, DJ Shark, Rondell Moore, and I took a stab at Julio Jones late in the draft, just in case. You never know. And then my boys are going to give me hell for this, but my backup quarterback happens to be Baker Mayfield. And I know if you've watched anything recently in the past for our show, we've crapped on Baker Mayfield for like the last months doing this show. But I think he's on a really good team. I think he's got some weapons to throw to. He's the starter.
Whoa. You just said he's on a really good team.
He's on a good team. It's not great. How many times is he going to check down to Christian McCaffrey and he's just going to bust his
Well, I don't think it's going to be a check down. I think it's just going to be a play to throw it to Christian McCaffrey.
That's what I'm saying. But I mean, he's not going to hand it off to him as much as he's going to throw it to him. So, there's positive points to be, and he's my backup. So, hopefully I don't have to play him until my bye week. But I do like the Olave pick, and then DJ Shark. Obviously, I think Rashad Bateman is going to be really good for the Baltimore Ravens. He'll probably end up in my starting lineup over, I don't know, David Montgomery. I would say maybe. I'm going to let the first week slide and see how things go. Look at the overall projections and percentage of touches and things of that nature, and then make my decisions. But I'll have to do a little bit more research leading up to Thursday and then the rest of the weekend to see who I want to pick in those flex spots. But I've got a lot of options for wide receivers. So I've got my work cut out. But what are your guys' opinions on your boys' draft? I was picked to finish 4th on Fantasy Pros. And then on our ESPN, I think I was 6th or 5th. I think it was 6th. I think it's today. Because I think, Coop, you dropped a little bit if you haven't checked. I think it's just because you don't have a kicker.
Yeah, I did drop. Yeah, you were projected 6th.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But let's pop it back up here again. All right, fellas. One thing I did not like is I do think Cole Kmet is going to be okay. We talked about before, if you don't get like a top 5 tight end, you're not getting much production out of him. You know, it's pretty much boom or bust for tight ends. You know, Cole Kmet may come out and be, you know, the number 1 target for Justin Fields in Chicago, but I don't think that's going to happen week to week. He might lead the league and lead the team in targets for certain games, but I think I'm not going to get that much production consistently out of Cole Kmet. But he was the best available at the time. I waited tight end. That's probably the one thing I probably would have changed if I had another chance. Tight ends left pretty quick in our league too, I think.
Yeah,
Any ones that I would like
that was
target.
a shock to me.
I know, you know, Kelsey and Andrews, and I think Waller went really early, I think.
Yeah, I think Andrews. Well, I took Andrews, and then I believe Chaz took Kelsey with the next pick.
Yeah, so
they went back to back.
With 18 picks between my 2 picks, I think in like 6 of them tight ends were taken. Once one of them started going, they all started going, and I kind of just got left with the bottom of the barrel. And at that point, I kind of just kept pushing back and drafting other wide receivers for that flex spot. You there? I think. I mean, I'm going to get something out of Cole Kmet because I think he's really good. He could turn into a little bit of a sleeper pick, but I'm not betting the mortgage on it or anything. So,
my pick for you, your boomer bust is CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah,
I know he's like I think ranked 14th or top 15 in most leagues. I don't know. Him having Amari Cooper there the past couple years, he's really good. I mean, he's clearly ranked because he's good. I just don't know how he's going to be able to handle being the number 1 guy. And he's not going to have help for a few weeks with Michael Gallup being out, which I don't know if they've said how many games he's going to miss yet, but he's not on the PUP. And so that means he's going to play within at least the first 4 weeks, you would assume. But I don't know. I think CeeDee Lamb, I had a draft tonight. He was on the board for way too long. And I just couldn't pull the trigger on him because, you know, I had like Mike Evans or Mike Williams. Like there's just different guys out there that are more known commodities that you know their role. And CeeDee's now this number 1 wide receiver. And, you know, that changes. Just because you were good and you become a number 1 doesn't mean you're going to be the number 1.
Yeah, that's for sure. My thing for drafting him, we always give this advice of draft players on good offenses. And our NFL Awards show, which is our very first episode, we talked about it. The Dallas Cowboys had a freaking electric offense last year. It may not be that now. Obviously, things have happened. But they led the league in damn near every passing category. So I don't think the drop-off is going to be that much with CeeDee Lamb. He is going to fall off a little bit, and we never talked about him in those bust categories that we had. But he is a bust candidate, and he's on my roster, so I'm understanding of that. But you know, I'm kind of hopeful that don't happen. But yeah, if you guys are watching and see what you like or what you don't like, let us know. You're not going to hurt our feelings none. Coach Whitaker likes the CD pick, so appreciate you, Coach. So if you guys are watching, interact with us. Tell us what you like. Quick look at my bench again. Like I said, I fully think Rashad Bateman is going to end up starting for me. He might be starting week 1. I got the Bateman and the Lamar stack there. It's going to be hard to keep that on the bench for very long. So who is it going? I don't know if it's going to be Montgomery or Mitchell. DK, we'll see what happens at the quarterback spot for Seattle. I don't like Seattle. I don't like them. I don't trust DK. Like I said, you guys just hopped on. DK came to me by accident. My internet timed out. I got auto-picked, back-to-back pick because I was the first overall pick. It was the second round or second the ending round of it, so I got back-to-back picks. Auto-drafted both DK and Elijah Mitchell. I'm not mad about the Mitchell pick. I do like Elijah Mitchell. He's somebody I probably could have picked very, very well, would have targeted at that point in the draft based on my running backs that I had, because I had two at the time. But I don't like DK. That's one thing I don't like about my team. But he could surprise me. I don't know. I know that if Geno Smith starts, he likes DK. Bryce comments on our show all the time. He's a big Seahawks fan. He thinks that Geno's going to target DK a ton. But we'll see. I don't know. Coop don't think so.
Yeah, I think the steal for your team was Bateman. You got him in round 9. And, part of my strategy, I do really like the stacks. And I was trying to go for upside with a lot of my picks, but I have Bateman ranked personally over Gabe Davis. I took Gabe Davis in the 6th. Bateman fell to 9. So that's just a huge value. Really liked him. I'm higher on Komet than most. I think that's kind of outside of those top 7 or 8. He's the best option out of those next guys. And
I'll be honest with you, I probably wouldn't have picked him if it hadn't been for our show and me having to go and look at stats and look at things and listening to Coop talk about these guys that he likes. I'll be quite honest, if it wasn't for this show. So there you
Frank,
go.
You took 3 of Coop's guys that he wanted. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I got sniped a lot.
Coop got sniped a lot. I think Keith got him a couple times. Yep. Daniel got you a couple times. He drafted AJ Dillon. We talked about A on this show. So I had him actually queued up in my draft board, 4 picks ahead of me, and Coop took him when I was getting ready to take him too. So we all know that happens consistently. But I will say this, and Coop made this comment during our draft, that it was the most comprehensive, educational backed draft that we've ever had. Not many people went off the wire and did something stupid, except for Dave drafting 2 defenses. Also an accident. Yeah. But other than that, it's going to be a pretty competitive league this year, I believe. It's hard to predict those types of things without the season actually starting, because tomorrow half our team may get hurt in practice. So
yeah.
All right, fellas. Coop, defending champ. Buddy, talk about it real quick. What was your thought process?
Lead off by saying that both these guys are full of excuses. You've heard both of them, give their reasoning why I did this, why I did that. Champions don't make excuses because they're too busy getting better. So you're not going to hear any of that out of me. So we'll start off at the top with how I got Josh Allen on this team. And the thing that's so important about fantasy, you have to know your league. And that's not just the roster settings, not just the scoring. You have to know how the people in your league draft. Our league is not, they don't love quarterbacks. They just don't. We've always been a 2-quarterback league, but we've been a small league. We've had 8 teams for a few years. So quarterbacks aren't as premium when you have that. 10 teams is a different ballgame. You do any mock draft, you look at any rankings, Superflex, 2-quarterback league, Josh Allen is 101. He's the first pick in the draft. So I was ready to take Josh Allen in the first if he fell, if somebody took Herbert or Mahomes over him. But when he didn't, I knew that I could wait. So I went and got my guy, my 101 that I've proclaimed on this show, Justin Jefferson. Top receiver. We're in a full PPR league.
That video doing mighty well on YouTube, by the way. So,
yeah,
just saying.
And we want to practice what we preach here. We want you guys to know that we're not just saying it so you'll listen to us. We're saying it because we believe it. This is are the things we use, and that I try to win, that I win with, and that they try to win with. So when I took Jefferson, I knew I wanted one of the top 6 quarterbacks, and I could get one of those in the second. And it was just a blessing when Josh Allen fell to me. So I took him in the second round. That gave me the number 1 player at 2 different positions. So that is a huge advantage week to week, that I have the number 1 wide receiver and the number 1 quarterback. I kind of had the strategy going in, again, knowing who I draft with, it was going to be running back heavy. So I wanted to go 0 RB. I only have to start 2. So I took advantage of that roster flexibility and I just loaded up on wide receivers. Really wanted Michael Pittman in the 3rd. Shocked that he didn't fall to me. He's normally, a pick that goes in the 30s. That would put him round 4. He didn't fall. So I went DJ Moore. I think, a lot of upside there. As much as I hate Baker, he's better than Sam Darnold. It is an upgrade. After that, Higgins best available. I got Kyle Pitts in the 5th, which is where I had him kind of queued up for the entire draft. Right after him went Waller, so it was a perfect spot to get him. Another positional advantage. He's top 3. Finish it out with Gabe Davis, Darnell Mooney, and then I did not take a running back until round 8, and I went and got my guy again, A.J. Dillon. A couple rounds early because people have heard me talk about him, and I didn't want somebody else to get the quad father.
I had him queued up, honestly.
Yeah.
Really quick, we want to answer this question real quick. That's Obi-Wan says, "Hey, do y'all give ratings for teams?" I really quick want to answer that. Well, if you send us your team, you want to type it in the comments, we'll give you some comments just like we're giving our own. A grade per se based on analytics, we don't have that power. If you want us to comment on your team, send us a list of your names and your starters and things like that, and we'll do the same thing we're doing with our own team right now. We'll talk about it. We'll run through your list, what we like, what we don't like, maybe something you might need to look for in the future. So Obi-Wan, appreciate the comment from YouTube. But Coop, sorry to interrupt you, but I feel like I had to answer that question really quick before lost that train of thought there.
Yeah, 100%. It put me on pause too. I saw it over there on the side. I'm glad you gave it some mention. Then I decided to roll the dice on Dameon Pierce, everybody's preseason darling right now. Figured round 9, and with no running backs really on my roster, I got to go with the upside and hope that he can take that backfield over for all 3 downs. Went Justin Fields and Daniel Jones as that kind of QB2 rotation. I'll play the matchups. They both have rushing upside. They're on terrible teams, and hopefully they can get better under coaching changes. They take step forwards as passers. They're going to be usable QB2s. But that was kind of my strategy. Tried to pick up some more running backs that have question marks, hoping that they could be full-time backs. Michael Carter, he's supposed to be the lead back until he isn't with Breece Hall. He's the 1A right now for them. And then Kenneth Walker and Darrell Henderson Jr. are both an injury away behind 2 very injury-prone running backs to be 3-down workhorses for their teams. I got snobbed a lot, man. I wanted Nyheim Hines. He went to pick before me. Ramondre Stevenson, the pick before me. Chase Edmonds, pick before me. So definitely, like Frank said, very competitive league. A lot of people knew what they were doing. I was just, I guess, a round too late if I was 1 pick behind. But I like my chances. I think I'm definitely in the conversation for the best team in the league, and hopefully my wide receivers stay healthier than everybody else's running backs.
Yeah. And honestly, Coop, look at his starters one more time. A.J. Dillon and Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce is shooting up people's draft boards. Again, Texans are not a good football team. I do not think that they're going to win more than 4 games, but I could be wrong. But with that being said, he's going to be their workhorse for a significant time and place for quite some time because they cut everybody else they had. They let him go. So with, Dameon Pierce was right. I think you took him relatively early too, didn't you, Coop?
I took him in round 9.
Oh, that's not relatively early then. But I like A.J. Dillon and Dameon Pierce. Again, I had Dillon queued up picks away. I thought, he might fall to me, but Coop didn't let that happen. I do like, obviously, Justin Jefferson. We had a conversation about him being the top overall pick. And that video is on YouTube if you guys want to listen to that conversation. It was a really good one and filled with a lot of stats and things like that. It's one of our best performing videos on YouTube right now, so appreciate you guys for that. Just make sure you give us a shout out and subscribe while you're at it, watching some of our stuff. We appreciate that. We're on the way to 100. We're 60 subscribers away as of earlier today. we're growing slowly but surely. We think streaming consistently is helping us out a little bit. We love talking to our audience and things like that. So you guys leave comments, we'll answer your questions. Coop, I like the team, dude. I really do. The bench is what I like Ayuk a lot, and it's all dependent on Trey Lance and how he does. I like Justin Fields as your backup. I think he might end up being a starter, in my opinion. But
yeah, he's only on the bench because they play San Francisco week 1, and nobody wants that.
No, Darrell Henderson, like I said, I'm not a big Cam Akers fan, but I do think he's going to get a lot of red zone touches. And Akers coming off of an Achilles injury, that's kind of difficult to come back and do anything with. I think I read a stat that people coming off Achilles injuries, running backs especially, do not finish in the top half of the league in terms of running back production fantasy wise after that. So you guys that drafted Cam Akers, be on the lookout. You might need to beef up that running back room a little bit.
Yeah, I was real upset whenever Coop sniped Darrell Henderson because he got him 2 picks before I was going after him. I think I even talked about him being a sleeper because, like Frank just said, Cam Akers, he came in and did a job to get him to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl, but that was Darrell Henderson's team for 18 weeks. He was I think he twisted his ankle or, an ankle injury, gave Akers the starting nod in that first week. But that was Henderson's team. He was a second-round pick last year, and the fact that he fell to the 13th or 14th round is pretty remarkable. So I like that pick. I really wanted him.
Yeah, so Obi-Wan has given us his list of names. There's a couple comments following this one, so we'll follow that up as well. So he's got Murray, Deontay Johnson, Jerry Jeudy, Austin Eckler, Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, Travis Etienne, Kareem Hunt, Drake London, DeAndre Hopkins, the Denver defense, Melvin Gordon, Tony Pollard. Love Tony Pollard, by the way. Brandon Cooks and Cordero Patterson. He also said his mistake was picking Kyler Murray over Herbert. We agree that's probably a mistake. If Herbert was on the board,
yes,
I would have picked Herbert first. But you never know. Kyler could blow up. I think with Hopkins being out early, his throwing ability, I think he's going to have more rushing attempts and rushing yards and maybe some rushing touchdowns over Herbert. But I think Herbert is literally a gunslinger, probably more talented. He's right up there with Josh Allen in terms of talent and arm strength and things like that. And I think he has more weapons than Josh Allen, in my opinion. So overall, I do like Chubb over Andrews. That's debatable. I like Austin Eckler. I'm assuming that's your first round pick. I drafted Travis Etienne. A lot of other people wanted him, so I agree with that pick. Depending on where you took him, Drake London is a sleeper in a lot of teams. Hopefully, you took him later in the later rounds. I like the Hopkins pick, but just be aware that he's not going to be there for a little bit. Melvin Gordon, I love the Tony Pollard pick. Cordero Patterson, he's probably going to be hit or miss. I don't know that he's going to be huge for that offense. I think you might see him catch a lot of balls out of the backfield, honestly. But fellas, let's chime in here. Let's help our boy out here.
I think he is absolutely stacked in the RB room, and I would make a trade. I would go after whatever tight end you want, whether it's Pitts, Andrews, Kelsey. I disagree with him saying he messed up saying Nick Chubb over Andrews because Nick Chubb is going to be a guaranteed, I don't know what league he's in, but I would say a 200+ point guy.
Yeah.
Andrew is going to be around 150, 160, maybe 170. So I don't think you messed up there. But you got a loaded RB room, and I would go use some of that ammo to go, get that tight end, or, if you want Justin Herbert,
I think there's some pieces there you could get him. I don't know that I would. I don't know, man. There's definitely with Eckler, Jones, and Chubb, and then Melvin Gordon, Tony Pollard as well.
ETN.
Yeah, ETN as well. That's a loaded running back room, my dude.
Yeah.
I don't know how to be honest with you, because if somebody was watching you draft those guys you were doing, I don't know if you had that in your head going in, you're going to be running back heavy. I would find some legitimate wide receivers. Use those picks that you have. Grab some of those guys that would be, I would say 6th, 7th round picks normally. And you could definitely make some good your pieces that you have and improve your team overall. He also and Hopkins were late picks. I agree with those. Super cool with that. Obi-Wan, if you don't care, if you're still on here, give us a kind of rundown of how your draft works.
I just want to know the format. Is it PPR or not?
PPR standard? How many teams are in there? He said that he got hit bit running back happy, but which is fine if it's PPR. Usually go run back heavy because there's so many wide receiver choices that will drop. You're right. You can get really quality wide receivers late in drafts. But give us that information, and then we'll get back to you on. Okay, he's already got it. PPR 12 man. So you got all those running backs with a 12-team league.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
you stole those guys. You stole them. I will. You need to get some wide receivers, my guy.
The Chubb Andrews thing. I don't think it was the wrong decision at the time. You didn't know how that board was playing out. But seeing the running backs you got after him, like especially in PPR, Aaron Jones, ETN are different animals in PPR because that's where over half their production is going to be. So looking back, I would have taken Andrews over Chubb, but you couldn't see the draft board at that time. So I don't think it was a bad pick. I think Brandon Cooks is your best wide receiver. I'm high on Cooks, especially PPR. All the dude does is have, 80 catches and 1,000 yards. Not worried about Deontay Johnson, but those other receivers do have some question marks. So just echoing what the other guy said, I would try to bolster that room with the insane running back depth you have.
And we're talking like 1.5 good receivers, and you've got a damn good team, dude. Maybe it may be a decent tight end, but if you don't get one of the top 4 tight ends, don't make a huge difference. You can make up those points elsewhere. You can make those points with Kyler Murray, depending on who the other running backs or the quarterbacks are for the other teams. But
I wouldn't even trade for a tight end because there's so many available after the top 8.
Yeah, you could pick them up if you wanted to.
Njoku, Komet,
Freiermuth.
There's so many.
Dawson Knox if he didn't get drafted.
Hayden Hurst in Cincinnati.
He's going to be. I think he's going to have a big year. Probably not draftable, but we're going to move on to Swift season. He says full PPR draft incoming, 12-team. He's subscribing right now. We appreciate the sub. DeAndre Swift season. We love the love. Let's say we love everybody, right?
Frank. We got the new drop this episode. We love the love. We need the new subscriber drop whenever we get that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to. It doesn't tell me when they subscribe while we're streaming, like it does on Twitch.
Hey, just go off his word.
Yeah. So appreciate it. I'm gonna have a graphic ready to go that says thanks for the sub whenever you guys subscribe. So rate 1 out of 10. He's got Lamar. Love Lamar. Debo, Judy, Fournette, Akers, Komet, Elliott, Lazard in his pocket, Cordero Patterson, Rashad White, Khalil Herbert, Russell Gage, Darrell Henderson. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it. All right, guys. 1 out of 10. He's PR, 12 teams, right? What grade do you give this guy? By the way, while you're doing this, really quick, Obi-Wan subs too. Appreciate you, brother. If I had a cool graphic to put up here, I would, but I don't. I'm going to have that next week. We got you. Let me click that back up on the screen really quick so we can analyze full PPR 12-team.
I'm going to go first because I know that my views differ on a few of these players than Frank and Dave's. So I'm probably going to be lower on this team. I've got you around a 6. And the reason why in full PPR, I don't think every player's draftable throughout position. But a lot of these guys, I think their value is in a standard format. Debo had 68 catches last year. Garoppolo was more of a Debo passer than Trey Lance is going to be. I think Ayuk gets a boost and Debo maybe loses a little bit of receiving prowess with him. I'm low on Debo. I have him like back in my teens. Jerry Jeudy, the industry, the 100% split on right now. He's either the 20th wide receiver or he's the 40th, and nobody wants to talk about him. I'm more towards 40. That's just me. We haven't seen anything elite out of him since he came in the league. He was a great prospect, but he's been there for 2 years, kind of underwhelmed. Fournette, if he's healthy and Brady still wants to play football, he's super underrated. He should be top 10 if those things happen. Supposedly he came in at 280. Brady might have been on Dancing with the Stars. And then
Matt,
Akers,
it was the Masked Singer. Get a raccoon.
Yeah.
Come on now.
And then Akers is the other one. Just so much injury. Not that he's going to get injured again, but what's he going to be like coming back? So because of that, I don't think there is a great floor here, which makes me nervous.
My favorite picks are probably, I like Lamar, obviously. I'm having trouble with. Would Debo be your first round pick? I'm assuming. From looking at this, that's what I think. Coop's, he means Debo as being, the end-all be-all weapon of the 49ers last year. He's not going to have to do that again. So his replication of, his fantasy stats from last year, it's going to be really hard to get to, especially with Trey Lance, who people are really high on Trey Lance. I am not for some reason. It's just a gut feeling that I have that Trey Lance is not going to be what they want him to be. And we had this conversation last night about when Trey Lance was actually picked. And we were talking about, they just gave Jimmy G a new contract. So if they were so confident in Trey Lance, why would they do that? They're already signing their backup quarterback to another deal as a security blanket. So DeAndre said Diggs was my first rounder, but he traded away Diggs for Darrell Henderson and Debo because of Akers' handcuff.
Yeah, that I saw the Akers handcuff, and I thought that was I like that.
Yeah. That's interesting. I'm not a huge trader. I'll be honest with you, and they hate me for it. But we've talked about this before. I don't have the balls to trade away good players because I'm always afraid it's going to come back to bite me in the ass. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is what it is. When it comes for my rating for your team, before Coop said this, I was going to give this a 7. I do think there's a lot of value there. If Ezekiel Elliott does Ezekiel Elliott things and doesn't do crappy things like he has been doing, I think that's a great pick. Lazard is very quietly, people are mixed on him as well, but Rodgers got to throw it to somebody, right? And he's the one that's been there the longest. So I think that's a shot in the dark maybe, but it's a very accurate shot in the dark, if that makes sense. Tyler Lockett, I know I drafted DK on accident. We've talked about that before, so you guys that just came on, my internet timed out. I got auto-picked with DK in the house that we were drafting, and I was pretty upset about it. If it come down to me picking 2 Seahawks wide receivers, I would probably go with Lockett. That's just my opinion. I don't think their quarterbacks are good enough to make a huge difference on who is there. It depends on which one plays and which one gets the most love. Rachaad White and Khalil Herbert, both of those guys, and even Russell Gage, dealing with some injuries, I believe. Both mostly under the radar type guys that if you get lucky and hit them big, good things can happen for your team. They might end up in your starting lineup. Cam Akers does scare me. I do like that you handcuffed Darrell Henderson to it. But other than that, I gave it a 7. I think it's a solid team. If I had to guess where you would be ranked in terms of, if it's ESPN, you can click on where you're ranked after the draft and what your projected standings would be. I would probably put you middle of the pack of your league. All right, we got a couple other ones. Our boy Jacob McCoy.
I love it.
Really quick before Jacob, Obi-Wan asked where we're from, and he said that we're from Carolina because Coop's wearing a Carolina hat. Totally not true. We're all actually from Kentucky. David was actually born in Virginia, moved here when we were like 7. We all went to high school together in a small town. Coop is a North Carolina fan for some godly reason we don't know. Me and Dave
30
both.
minutes from Rupp Arena. Let's go Tar Heels.
Yeah. We live about 30, 45 minutes away from Lexington. So me and Dave are huge UK fans. We love Kentucky sports all around. Dave currently lives in Illinois. Coop and I both live back in Kentucky in the same hometown. We probably live 2 miles apart. Dave is like 500 miles away from us currently. So just quick shout out to who we are and where we're from. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, help us out.
We did start the trifecta because we were in a triangle, but Coop was in Virginia.
Coop was actually in Virginia. So we was in 3 different states back when we very first started the podcast. It seems like forever ago, but it really wasn't. It were 25 episodes ago anyway. So back to our buddy Jacob McCoy, who also we graduated with. Shout out to Jacob. He's got Kyler Murray, Austin Eckler, Saquon, Stephon Diggs, Pat Freiermuth, Breece Hall. It's his first year playing. He feels like he did all right. What do you guys think? He's also got Cooks at the flex. That's in another comment below. We're not going to put that one up there, though.
I love it. I think it's great. Eckler's, can't miss first rounder. Kyler Murray, just make sure you have a quarterback after week 10 when the Cardinals decide to go 0-7 to finish the year. Don't want him in the playoffs. But I think Saquon's being slept on by everybody. I'm not sure what round he got him in, but I know he's been going in like 4th or 5th round. I think that's an absolute steal. I think he's going to be healthy. He's going to get a ton of carries. He might be in the CMC range if he's able to stay on the field. Stephon Diggs is Stephon Diggs. I mean, you can say Gabe Davis or Isaiah McKenzie or Dawson Knox. They might steal some catches, but Stephon Diggs, I think he's a can't-miss wide receiver. Freiermuth is going to be good. And Breece Hall, I mean, I wanted him tonight, and he got snaked from me. So I think it's a good, safe pick for whatever round you're able to get him in.
Actually, I helped my wife with the draft tonight a little bit. She does fantasy football. She actually was in our league quite some time ago. Did really well. I helped her at none. I mean, she beat my ass all the time. But she was doing her draft tonight, and I was kind of helping her around with it. And I mentioned maybe taking Breece Hall. It was, 6th, 7th round. He was still there, and I was like, babe, take that guy. You got good running backs and you got really good receivers. It won't hurt to have that in your bag as well.
Man, she's coming at you in the comments.
I will say this. Shout out to my wife. She doesn't watch our show. She doesn't.
Yes, she does.
She's watching now. But, she finished 2nd in the league, and we're like, we can't have that happening.
No, but, you said you couldn't have that.
No, I didn't.
That was a weird year. I missed the playoffs. That's the only season I haven't made the playoffs. So something was wrong.
Yeah. But anyway, Jake, shout out to my wife. Love you, babe. Appreciate it. Can you go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel while you're at it? I don't even think she subscribed. I love Jacob McCoy's. Go ahead, Coop. I don't want to.
My only thing is I'm not normally drafting Breece Hall because the question mark is New York going to let him be the bell cow? But this is the perfect build to do it because you don't need him.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if he sits on your bench for 8 weeks.
You have
they finally turn it over. I'm
torn as to how he got Eckler and Saquon and Stephon Diggs.
He got Saquon in the 3rd. It went Eckler, Diggs, Barkley. Almost guarantee it.
Probably. But that's a solid haul, dude. I'm not going to lie. Jake, you did pretty good, bro. And he's got Brandon Cooks at the flex. So, Josh Weaver, super loyal listener, comments on all of our stuff. Kobe says you have Eckler, Kamara, Pitts, and you're starting at ETN or Cortland Sutton. PPR, who you taking?
Oh, it's no doubt.
Sutton.
Yeah.
Definitely Sutton for me.
Coop loves Sutton. And then he said he took ETN, went running back heavy. Not his normal build, but told himself that he was going to take the best player available.
It's not. Listen, the top half of your leagues, the top half of your draft, you're not going to win your league in the top half of your draft.
No, you went in the bottom for sure.
You can lose it, but taking an upside pick, an RB1 on a what's supposed to be improved offense, it's not a bad pick. I would have taken Sutton, especially with the build you had so far, but it's still a great pick. You have Travis Etienne. He's like one of the
biggest
boom players in fantasy football this year. Everybody loves him. So just, yeah, that's all I got on that.
But what's our mantra though, boys? At the end of the day, when it comes down to it,
pick players on good teams, good offenses.
Pick players on good teams, and Etienne is on a bad team. Sutton should be on a good team.
Yeah, I mean, he's with a better quarterback. I wouldn't say necessarily he's on a better team, but
they had the best defense last year.
Offensively, though,
they had
change one player,
Williams and Melvin Gordon.
Whatever.
They had a pretty good offense with no quarterback.
All right, I'm wrong. Okay, I'm wrong. Forget about it. I suck. I know. Right. Coach Whitaker, this is a 12 non-PPR, so it's standard scoring. He's got Burrow, Johnson, DK, Taylor. Is that Jonathan Taylor, I'm assuming? Connor, Mark Andrews, Pollard, Mike Evans, Olave, D-Hop, Jameson Williams, or Javonte Williams. I'm not sure. And then Everett, Robinson, and Matt Ryan. Ain't nobody telling us what kickers you guys took. Just kidding. That don't matter.
Yeah, how come nobody's taken 2 defenses yet? I thought I set the standard for that.
My favorite picks. I picked Olave in a couple. Well,
man, y'all being all my favorite picks.
I just don't like being mean to people, Coop. Got to build up their.
I'm not being mean. People are asking for advice, so we want to, tell them where.
I already said that I don't like DK. I don't like DK. He's on my team, but I didn't pick him. Somebody else did for me.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Burrow is going to be a solid quarterback. Obviously, I'm a Bengals fan through and through. Love Cincinnati Bengals. Burrow is going to help us win the Super Bowl. So if you don't think so, get out of my way. I don't know. What rating would you give this out of 1 out of 10? 12 man. Keep that in mind.
It's non-PPR as well, right? I think I saw that in their comment. I'm going 7 because of the strength of those 2 running backs. I think you can make a case that James Conner is a top 10 running back in non-PPR. Yeah. My concern with this team is I don't like Thomas and Hopkins on the same team. That's 2 huge question marks. And Hopkins, his production was a little limited at the end of last year. Like it wasn't regular DeAndre Hopkins. And then he's coming off a 6-game suspension. And then we haven't seen Michael Thomas in 2. What's he going to look like? And your wide receiver room, Deontay Johnson's going to be good. He's going to be top 20. He does it every year. DK, we don't know. I'm kind of split. I go back and forth on him. But I think that those 2, I like having one of them because if they hit, they're league winners. But both of them is a lot of risk. And you're going to have to use them.
Y'all, just really quick, you guys are killing this chat up. I can't even keep up with all of it. We appreciate it. If you're in here and you're we're trying to get everybody's questions. We try to stay on for an hour. We might have to extend it a little bit longer tonight just to kind of help you guys out and answer some questions you guys have. While you're here, if you haven't subscribed yet to our YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook, like us, share the video, move over to YouTube, sign in, search us up, subscribe on there. We're trying to get to 100. I feel like, we've gained more subscribers since we started streaming than we have for the multitude of weeks that we started doing this. So we appreciate all the love. We really do. Next one, we have grade trade, please. He's had a 14 team HPPR.
Half PPR.
Start 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, 3 flex. 1 is wide receiver tight end only. This guy, we try to mess around with things, make it a little bit interesting. Jake from State Farm. Love the name, by the way. He traded Jerry Jeudy and Jacobs for Saquon and Wandale. His roster is Coop likes the trade already. He's got Saquon, Edmonds, Gibson, and Miles Sanders. His wide receivers are Pittman, DJ Moore, Godwin, Kirk, and Wandale. I like
my rule. My rule of thumb in most trades is the best player is usually who wins. It's not always the case, but if you come out of the trade with the best player, most of the time you've won the trade. And this one's definitely true for me.
So he got Saquon out of the deal. You think Saquon's the best player in that trade?
Yes.
Well,
You know,
I think he got rid of 2 guys that are question marks. I mean,
Yeah,
Jerry
I agree.
Judy's going to be the second guy. Josh Jacobs might not be with the Raiders for a while, and he went and got a bell cow and I think a high upside guy in Wendell.
Yeah, Wandale's unproven, but so is Jerry Jeudy. I think Wandale has just as much of a chance to break out right now than Jerry Jeudy does. And, if you go for Josh Jacobs or Saquon, anybody with a brain is going to pick Saquon over Josh Jacobs right now. But, dude, killer draft. Appreciate the comment.
I love that wide receiver room. I think that's 3 guys with top 10 upside.
Yeah, he's also got
Amazing.
Kyler Murray as his quarterback and Pat Freiermuth the tight end. Bryce is hating on us. Notorious Seahawks hater Frank Spencer. Bryce is a Seahawks fan and does not like anyone of the Seahawks either. Appreciate the love, Bryce. Let's see here. Here's a good question from Gabriel Maldonado. Appreciate the comment, Gabe. Raheem or J.D. McKissick?
PPR, McKissick, standard, Mostert.
Okay.
I actually go any format. I'd go McKissick. I think that
you got to show him your hoodie though first, Dave.
Well, yeah, the commies are down on Gibson.
Yeah, I got to see where that decision's coming from. Dave is a commies fan through and through.
But they're saying that McKissick's going to get early work since Robinson is out for the foreseeable future, and they're going to keep Gibson in that third down role. It's kind of been the chatter that I've seen online, and I am not trusting a Dolphins running back ever. No. I think we talked about that in the prior season. Ever since who was the guy that got traded to the Eagles? Jay Ajayi.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think there was another guy, Chase Edmonds. Didn't he start there and then he went to the Cardinals? I don't know. If they have a good running back, they're going to trade him for draft picks.
Yeah, Chase Edmonds made his name with the Cardinals. That's how he got into the situation to begin with. And
yeah, the thing I like about Mostert, he was the RB1 in San Francisco with Mike McDaniel and got hurt. That's how we met Elijah Mitchell. We didn't even know who that guy was until Mostert goes down. McDaniel comes over, he brings Mostert with him, and like you just said, Chase Edmonds is a third down back, right? He was a compliment to James Conner. I love Chase Edmonds this season, but I think Mostert he's the red zone guy on an offense that we expect to be much improved. I'd rather have a guy that's going to get that touchdown upside than the guy who's going to get the third down work for the commies, the Manders.
The Manders.
We going PG now, boys?
I was just dropping both names out there.
Yeah. So my wife has subscribed to our YouTube channel, fellas. We're hitting it big.
Is that the first of the 3?
The what?
Is that the first of the 3 wives to subscribe?
No.
Hannah was the first.
Hannah subscribed.
Yeah.
Dave, has your wife subscribed?
No.
All you guys that are subscribing to our YouTube channel tonight, we appreciate it. Like I said, Coop, we need a sweet graphic that goes across the screen. Did have a question from Obi-Wan, who's been on the show all night long. We appreciate that, dude. He's asked if we were on Twitch. We are not currently on Twitch, but I can make that happen next week pretty dang easily. I've have very small experiences with Twitch. The program that we're running this through is called Restream. It's very simple, very easy for me and my current computer setup to handle. I stream on a MacBook Air 2021 model with the M1 chip.
Brag a little bit, Frank.
Subtle money drop.
So it does really good. I have to have it hardwired in my internet. That's a long story, but we did this the first time we had it.
I'm on the
first time we had this going. It was really
Walmart
glitchy. Yeah, it was really glitchy, and our voices were cutting in and out. Hopefully, it's a little better because I've got it actually hardwired into my computer for my internet connection. But Brian Markham said you can't have. I would be lying to you if I told you that I did not use a credit card to pay for this. It's almost paid off though. We're good.
Right, let's get through some comments. See how many we can get in before we wrap this up.
Yeah, I mean I'll stay on here for a while. I don't care. We got another team to rate. Spencer, this comment's been on here a while. We weren't ignoring you, Spencer. Me and you, common name. My name is Frank Spencer, by the way. 12 teams, 6 pick. Najee, Dak. Why y'all laughing at me? I hate you guys.
You're too easy, Frank.
CD, Pittman, Mike Williams, Freiermuth, James Conner. I'm assuming that's Gabe Davis. Rate 1 to 10. Appreciate the help.
That's a 10
They already
for me.
hated on my CD pick. Pittman, I'm telling you right now, Coop loves Pittman. I like Pittman too. I just didn't get a chance to get him. We've already had a conversation about Conner as well. Very potentially could be a top 10 running back in the league based on touchdown production. Gabe Davis is going to be a good receiver for the Buffalo Bills. I don't see a quarterback. Who's your quarterback? Let us know about that.
Dak.
Sorry, I did see a quarterback. I'm not wearing my glasses. So
Yeah, I think I'd give
overall,
this a 9.
I was going to say 8 or 9 for sure.
I'm 10.
I
I
like
can't find a place I don't like,
Coop likes it.
especially in 12 team. I mean, you got CD, Pittman, Mike Williams, and Gabe Davis in a 12 team league. Like those are
That's
4
solid.
of my top 24 wide receivers.
Spencer, you're going to win your league, big guy. If you don't,
He did.
I don't know. I don't have
He
anything.
clearly didn't subscribe and listen to us throughout the entire season and know who to pick up off the waivers.
Yeah. So
Can't win your league in the draft.
Yeah, appreciate the comment, big dog. Subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate the love. We got anybody else? Bryce has a question. He says, "Who's your absolute favorite pick to draft from? What number you term in terms of like 1 through 10 or 1 through 12? I don't know. I like being in the front, and I like being at the very end, because at the very end, the first round goes through. Most of the guys that you want on your team are not there. You have a lot more to pick from that you can't fail. It's kind of fail proof at the end of the round. And I like getting picks back to back or really close together. I don't like picking and then waiting. What does suck if you're in the front or the back is once you make that pick at the beginning, there's 18 picks before you get to your next one. But then you get 2 really good ones right away. If you're at the end, it's a little different story. But I like being at the front or at the end. I do not like being in the middle.
Depends on the league size. You're talking like we did 10. I would like to be in that 7, 8 spot. So I almost have a wraparound. I would say 8 if I'm picking one, because I almost have a wraparound. I can see how the board's falling before me, like kind of what the narrative of the draft is going to be, and set a strategy off of that. Like I said, I had the 5th one in this, and I was totally open to taking Josh Allen until I saw those first 4 picks. And then it allows you to kind of reset and figure out what you want to do. So I would say 8 in a 10-team league.
Yeah, I'd say I prefer that late round pick. That give me that 10 or 12 or 8 if you're an 8-man league, just because you can't really screw up. You're going to be given your choice, and you get 2 choices back to back. But the downfall for me last night was QBs went hot in the 3rd round or the 2nd round, and that happened right after I picked my 2nd round pick, and then it was, I think, 14 picks before I got to get a chance to get a quarterback, and anybody worth drafting was already gone. So you have that risk reward. A lot of guys like that middle, so you don't have to wait. You only get those 8, 9 picks between your draft picks, so you don't really lose out if there is a run on position players or a certain position. But I prefer the late. I let Frank have that 1-1 pick and just screw up, and then just capitalize off of that.
If in this league, in any fantasy league this year, you can't screw up your first 3. If you're in the first 3, you can't screw it up. It's foolproof. Like we said, it's either CMC, Jonathan Taylor. In our opinion, it's Justin Jefferson. Any of those 3 in most leagues, you can't screw that up if you pick one of those 3. And then even Coop says that if I would have picked Josh Allen, he wouldn't have thought twice about it in our 12-team league or 10-team league. But shout out to Spencer again. He said, "Hell yeah, thanks boys. Subscribe." He's getting all of his buddies on. He really appreciates it. We appreciate that as well. Let's do. Josh Weaver's got a question here. He's got his main draft coming up. It's his most competitive redraft league starting tomorrow. He's got the 12th overall pick. Like we just said, we like the end of the rounds. I'm assuming it's a snake draft. I'm not sure. We've done drafts where it's not a snake draft before, so we're going to make an assumption that most people do snake drafts. Chase, Cooper Kupp are keepers outside the first round. Likely be staring at Swift, Jones, Kamara, Saquon, Diggs, and Adams. So I guess the question is, which one of these would you target if they're there with the 12th pick?
I actually had this exact same situation come up in a redraft league with a keeper. We only got one, and I had to choose between Chase and Kupp, and I went with Kupp. But I took the 12th round pick because I didn't have a third, but I had Diggs as my 112. I'm not sure what your league is looking at, if everybody keeps the bell cows or not, but that's what my league did. So there was no running backs available when it got to me. I think it was Diggs and Mike Evans and those guys. So if you're lucky enough to have a Swift or a Jones or Kamara sitting there, I would say running back first. Try and get that because there are good wide receivers beyond Diggs and Adams that'll get you, maybe not as many points, but similar. But, good luck to you, man, because there was nothing available for me when I had the 112.
Yeah, I would, out of those players, Kamara stands out to me. He would be the one I would definitely have ranked at the front of that group. But like Dave said, I mean, it totally depends on how that draft falls up to that point, up to your pick. But Kamara is kind of, I wouldn't say head and shoulders, but he's definitely got a gap on the rest of those guys for me personally.
Yeah, it sounds like he's not getting a suspension or anything from the league from that Pro Bowl altercation. So
yeah,
sounds like he's
the video comes out like the NFL always does. They'll have to put one in, but we're like 9 months post incident and it hasn't dropped, so it looks like he's going to be safe this season.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. We got a couple of other teams here. Appreciate the love, Josh. Again, the comment section has been blowing up with us. We appreciate all of it. A lot of new subscribers today. Again, if you're watching, you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, hit us up on there. It helps out. Everybody talks about. I know you watch YouTube, about the YouTube algorithm, likes, subscriptions, comments. All that helps push our videos out to other people that haven't discovered us yet. Hopefully we give you some decent value and a little bit of entertainment along the way. Primarily right now, so let's see what I got here.
That's what we just talked about, isn't it?
Yeah, excellent. Click something. All right, we'll hit that in a minute. We're just finishing my thought there. It helps us out getting our names out there to other people who haven't done it. We're just, hopefully we give you a little bit of good content that you can laugh at and stuff like that. But we're not into. We do mostly fantasy stuff right now, but previously we've done coverage of everything. But I think our plan moving forward is to do fantasy football stuff throughout the whole fantasy football season, and then periodically through the week, maybe do some solo videos about other things in the world of sports. So if you're interested in other things, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and we have lots of things headed your way. Professionals by no means. We're just three dudes who just decided to start a podcast because we don't have anything else to do, apparently. But Gabe says, rate the team. 12-man PPR, Stafford, Najee, Pierce, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, JD, McKissick, Stevenson, Henderson, Brees Hall, Kelsey, Deontay Johnson. I don't know, man. What do you think?
I like it. I'm probably in that. I would say a soft 8 because I like the wide receivers. I like Deontay Johnson. I love Darnell Mooney. I think Keenan Allen. He's got one of those, DJ Moore insanely high floors. I don't love the depth at wide receiver. I'm not a Treylon Burks believer. You may have more on your bench, but 3 receivers I believe in is a little short for me. You have a ton of boom potential in your running back room. So there's going to be plenty of opportunity for you to trade and upgrade your wide receivers. But I really like all the running backs.
Yeah, I think that would be my piece of advice is go use some of these handcuff guys to go and try and bolster that wide receiver room. I mean, you might love Ramondre Stevenson, but if you don't, I would definitely go target whoever has Damian Harris in your league and try and, steal something. That's an easy pitch to say, hey, Stevenson's going to be the lead back more than likely halfway through the season. Same way with Darrell Henderson. And, Breece Hall, we talked about a little bit earlier. He could be the dude, or it could be Michael Carter's team for 8-9 weeks. You're going to have to wait that one out. And the one pick I really don't like is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He burned me in a couple leagues. You do? You like him?
Yeah, I think he's the unquestioned RB1 on a top 5 offense. And what we always say, draft players from good offenses. And who's taking work from him? I mean, is Jerick McKinnon going to steal that much? Is Isaiah Pacheco really going to come in as a 6th-round rookie and, take the goal line work? I just think Clyde's in a situation where, it's kind of like Dameon Pierce. Like, who else is going to do it except it's on the Chiefs instead of the Texans?
Yeah, but my problem with Edwards-Helaire is, A, he's had the injuries, and B, he has fumble issues. So I could see where, Jerick McKinnon came in the playoffs, same situation as Cam Akers. It was Clyde Edwards-Helaire the entire year, and then it was Jerick McKinnon who took him to the AFC Championship. So, I'm not a believer in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm stuck with him in a couple keeper leagues because nobody will trade me. But that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. Really quick, we got a couple more, and then we're going to hop off here. If we don't get to you tonight, we severely apologize. We've been on here almost an hour, 15 minutes now. And we could go all night, but I can't get my charger to work on my computer, and we're currently at 5%. So we got from Bambo, hell of a YouTube name, by the way. Love it. Would you trade DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and commit for Waddle and Goddard, 12-man PPR? You got 3 flex spots.
Who
says
not.
No?
And this kind of goes back to my rule I had earlier. The best player in the trade is usually the one that wins it, and DJ Moore is the best player in this trade.
Yeah, I don't think DJ. You lose a lot to get Waddle, and I don't think, again, Goddard is a solid tight end, but again, tight ends are not going to be the end-all of your team unless you have 4.
Yeah, I'm going to go opposite of this. I do agree that DJ Moore has the highest ceiling. I don't know if I'd say he's the best player because Jalen Waddle had if it wasn't for Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle is in severe contention for Rookie of the Year. But the reason why I would even consider this trade is that you have DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. We go back to our saying, draft good players on good teams. You have 2 players that are on a pretty bad team. And being able to get out of that handcuff is enticing to me. And I think Jalen Waddle I think he's a stud. We're going to have to see what happens with Tyreek Hill there. But I would consider it, maybe not a 3 for 2. I don't think Kmet and Goddard are that different. But exactly. I don't know. I would rather have a guy on the Dolphins than 2 guys for the Panthers on my team. I like to hedge my team out a little bit unless you're handcuffing, which I wouldn't handcuff wide receiver.
One quick stat. There's one receiver in the NFL that's had 1,200 yards in the last 3 seasons. Just one, and that's DJ Moore.
That's interesting. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. I've rearranged some wires so that my charger is now currently working. So hopefully we can stay on a little bit longer and answer all the questions you guys have, because I don't want to leave you hanging, because most of you guys are very new to the channel. Again, if you're here, please subscribe. We would love that. For those of you who are asking, if you're on other platforms, we are the Trifecta Sports Podcast. You can look us up on YouTube. If you like listening to podcasts, this episode will actually be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts tomorrow, later on in the day tomorrow. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We stream on Facebook, on YouTube, and on my Twitter, my personal Twitter account as well. So holler that out there. Obi-Wan said, Gabriel, you robbed your league. Appreciate that. He's got a lot of fans out there. He says rate the team, Hunter. 10-man, no PPR. You have Josh Allen, Najee, Saquon, Keenan Allen, Jets. I don't know who that is. Who do y'all think? Who's Jay Jets? Who is that?
That's Justin Jefferson.
How in the world do you have all these players? I love this team a lot. This is a 10 for me.
Yeah.
I don't think you can't get any better than this. You got AJ Dillon, Trey Lance as your backup. People love him.
Yeah, there's one huge mistake here. We don't need backup defenses. They finally got us 2 defense.
Hey, there we go. There we go.
No, I had to find
the only
something.
one,
That's
Big
it.
Dog. Dude, that team's killer. You're winning. We're going to be doing updates every week with our personal fantasy league. So if you guys are wanting to chime in on how your teams are doing, if you guys come back, we stream every Monday night at 9:30. We try to keep it the same. Sometimes life gets in the way, but keep coming back, fellas. We love it.
If we didn't get to your comments, I'll go back through the video once we post it, and I'll drop that below. We'll give you a comment from us.
Yeah. So another good question from Facebook. We have from Marcos Valdez. Are you doing start-sit questions? We definitely, most certainly will. If you guys get into your seasons, Monday nights is going to be a weird time because Monday Night Football is on, but we can start talking about the week following our stream because most of the time our show actually comes out on Tuesdays on YouTube and our streaming platforms in terms of music. So Obi-Wan says, one last thing. What player should I trade drop on my team? Let me scroll up really quick and find your team. This will be our last question, unfortunately. We all have an early morning, fellas.
Do we have a Twitter, Frank?
Not a Twitter for Trifecta Sports. My personal Twitter is what we use. It's at Coach Spencer PC.
We'll get a better handle than that.
Yeah, and I'll probably just make a Twitter account. We don't get a lot of Twitter. I would say
it's just
views.
a good platform for interactive start-sit questions. Is what I was getting at there.
Yeah.
They can ask those throughout the week.
That's definitely something we can do, and we'll make sure we all 3 have access to the handle. So be on the lookout for a Twitter update there. Obi-Wan, man, you're way up here. We've had a lot of comments. All right, here we go. What player should he trade or drop on his team?
I think you're going to get the most value and not hurt your team because this is full PPR, and you could flip Nick Chubb for somebody really good. It's not that I dislike Chubb. He's just got a little bit lower value in PPR. You've got Eckler and Aaron Jones, and you got the boom potential with ETN. He's a great player. He's a good pick. You can keep him, and he's going to help you. But I think you could get a really solid guy for flipping Chubb.
Yeah, I would cut Hopkins. I don't know if anybody is going to waste a roster spot for 6 weeks with him. In some leagues they are, depending. But the 2 guys I would probably look to trade would be Melvin Gordon and Tony Pollard. I think I said it earlier. Go after whoever's Javonte Williams and Zeke and trying to pick their pocket. Offer them the handcuff and get what you can for them.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said before, I don't trade a lot, but I do think it's better, like especially if you know the people in your league, to have a conversation with them through a text message beforehand and work something out. Because in my head, when I just get a random trade request from somebody, they're looking to pull one over on you. There's no conversation going on, but it is a good way to start a conversation. And then I would usually deny it, and then he texts back and say, "Hey, I don't want to give up this piece, but what piece would you like to give up?" Things of that nature. But
and Coop and I even talked about this last night. Not all trades are made equal. My team was really bad last year. I had nobody. Me and Coop made a trade. I ended up with Justin Herbert and Zeke, and I gave Coop
AJ Brown and Antonio Gibson,
and he went and picked up Joe Burrow off the waivers. And as he said last night, that won him the league.
Yep.
So not all trades are equal.
Yep, that's for sure. But listen, fellas, been a hell of a time on here. Communicating with our new, I would call it new fan base. Again, we stream every Monday night from 9:30. Once Monday Night Football starts, it'd be really cool because we can, have the
Eastern
game.
time, 9:30 Eastern time. Frank.
Eastern Standard Time.
Might have some Illinois people out here.
Dave's on what's it called? I don't know. That's all
Pacific,
y'all got you got a bunch of cornfields. Driving to Quincy, Illinois is the most boring drive I've ever had in my life, and it happened in like 2:00 in the morning.
Right, that was your fault.
But we had a hell of a time at that wedding, though, didn't we, Coop?
I think
he doesn't remember.
I remember a lot of vivid details, and I'm sure our wives remember those same details.
What are we, 3 years post event? I'm still afraid to ask if I had a good time. I don't want those answers.
We'll talk about it offline.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Hey, no, we're coming up on 4 years.
Look here, Coop. My wife remembers.
Lindsay loved those not for fathers, sneaking them in the reception hall.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious. But anyway, we appreciate you guys tuning in today to watch us, just talk and bullcrap about fantasy football. I mean, it's something we like to do, and we're just on here on the internet doing it, putting it out there for everybody else to watch. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet on YouTube, please subscribe, like us, like the video, share it with your friends. Get on Spotify and download those episodes as well. That helps our what's called search engine optimization. So we get pushed out to these lists and charts and things so other people can discover us and maybe take us somewhere where we might not be available to go in the future without you guys. So again, we thank you guys. We love you guys. Again, I would like to send you guys off with a best of luck to your fantasy football seasons. They're kicking off this week. Would love nothing more for you to win your league, except for Dave and Coop, the league that they're in, with me in it. But other than that, you guys got any parting last words before we head on out?
Hit the drop.
We did.
Boom! This is sweet.